Right, Peter, since we last spoke, apart from anything else, there's a new board, some new members, including, of course, a colleague for you. You now have an owner's rep there in Paul Carpenter. How's that all gone?
Yeah, we had our first meeting. It was a shame. It was on a day when I was, going to go off on holiday, etc. So, I tried to do my best to get involved. Obviously, I'm always pretty centre of attention when you come to these meetings because I always make sure I put spoke up for the trainers because that's what I'm there for. You put your voice forward. There's no point sitting back and letting everything go off and you're not putting your voice forward. I don't always think that goes down well. Well, I know it doesn't always go down well, but I'm not going to change the way I am. I'm there to do a job for people. Don't take things personal. That's me, and I'm there to do the best for them.
How do you think Paul will have found his first meeting?
Probably a bit like me. Very strange. And obviously very new to him. And I think you've always got to give somebody the first meeting to settle in and get the bearings and come off from the meeting and think to themselves, well, how did that go? Or it didn't go very well, or it's not quite what I thought it was going to be. And I think he'll probably go back into the next meeting and be more, I wouldn't say raw ready for it, because he was ready for it, but it's different to probably what he thought it was. I tried to tell him as much as I can to tell him what it was going to be like. And but like everything, when something's new, it's new for everybody. There was other new members in there and stuff. And, there is some new independent, genuine independent members in there. And I think they'll be good. I'd already met one on the welfare committee meeting, which I'd had probably 3 or 4 days before. And when you take somebody, Floyd, and you think that they're going to be a real asset for this sport and they're good. Because I used to like the other welfare guy, Peter Webbin. I thought he was good. I thought he was very fair and a nice chap. Because you like to like people anyway, even though you're working with them, you still like to try and like people, don't you? And the new lady who's the welfare side of things, Madeline, I think she's a very straight cookie, and I think she'll be an asset to the sport.
The thing that occurs to me, a couple of things occur to me. First of all, however much anybody on the board would all want their own way, because that's the nature of what anybody, including you, the board only works if you can put your faith in it. That would be the first observation. The second observation is I remember your first board meeting because you phoned me on the way back and said you were going to resign.
Yeah, there's been many more meetings after that point when I could have rang you and told you the same, to be quite honest. It's I have to be careful what I say. It's never gone exactly how I think. And, sometimes I do have different ideas about the sport of how I'd like to see it go forward and what I'd expect from the sport. And I'm still like that now. I am still like that, Floyd. But, I'm just one person. So one person don't always get their way. And my thoughts of the way a sport should go compared to other people might be totally wrong and incorrect. So you couldn't have one person get what they want anyway, because that would never be democratic. I'd love to think things were more democratic than what they are, and maybe it might go that way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm aware, as I'm sure you are, that there are things going on in the background in terms of people looking at the board and its constitution, and particularly where it's going in terms of the directors and their commercial backgrounds, particularly when we get the Entain ARC contract come into place, which is in early 2024.
You've always got to think, I might be in a good position now, but if actually things went wrong and different things happen, would I be in that position? You've got to weigh that up sometimes, and maybe you have to give a bit more than what you wanted to make sure you can keep together.
Yeah, I mean, you're always going to have different interests. We see that even in things like football, where they say, well, the big clubs dominate, and hence we nearly had the breakaway of the European teams.
I think that was greed. I think that was greed, though, Floyd. I mean, you've got to weigh that. That was, for me, that was a pure greed thing, and that was, I don't think we're anything like that in this sport. So, I wouldn't put us on the same level as that. I just think it's, well, say that. I've just had a bit of a different thought, and to be quite honest, it could be like that, but I hope not.
No, it can't be in the industry's best interest to have a fractured industry. I think we'd all accept that. But then, if people don't feel they're getting a fair crack, then that will happen. It's one of those, a good board, and it's been a good board. We'll just have to make sure that it remains that way. That's how I would see it anyway.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I'd never discuss anything that goes off the board with anybody. So it's I just keep my fingers crossed. It goes on like it is doing.